Good evening. Over the last couple days, we've been reading through the book of Lamentations, and you might have realized that this book is incredibly depressing, probably the most depressing book in the Bible, really earning the name Lamentation, a book of mourning. It is written by a man believed to be Jeremiah, who has witnessed the fall of Jerusalem. He's witnessed the traumatic events of the siege, the starvation, and the violence within the city. He's witnessed the destruction of the temple and the deportation of the people, the loss of Zedekiah their king, and the killing of all his descendants. A truly book of mourning for all of this tragedy. And all of this because of the sins of the people of Jerusalem. And this is the conclusion the writer comes to. And in verse 9 of chapter 1, he says this: Her uncleanliness was in her skirts. She did not consider her future. Therefore, she has fallen astonishingly. Speaking about Jerusalem here in a poetic sense, he's basically saying that the people of Jerusalem should have known that this was the inevitable consequence of her actions, of her continual practice of sin, of idolatry, of wickedness, yet they did not consider their future. Judah and Jerusalem should have known this would happen. They had prophets like Jeremiah telling them for decades that this would be the inevitable conclusion of their actions if they continued down this path, but they weren't thinking about the consequences. They weren't thinking about the future, about God's warnings, but they're living in the moment. They're just delighting in the joys of sin in the moment without thinking of the destruction that it would inevitably bring about. And very often, this is how we treat sin. When we give into temptation, when we sin, oftentimes it's because we're not thinking of the future. We're not thinking of its consequences or what it is we're offering up, but we're just living in the moment, considering what we could get out of sin in the moment, what temporary delights we can get. And if we really did stop and consider our future, consider the destructive nature of sin, considered what it is we were offering up in trade for sin, we might not give in so easily. I think of the story of a pair of twin brothers, Jacob and Esau. Esau, the older brother, was out on a hunting trip, and he came back and he's starving, he's famished, he's hungry, and his brother Jacob is making soup. And he asked his brother, "Give me a bowl of soup." And Jacob, taking this opportunity, says, "I'll give you a bowl of soup if you sell me your birthright, your inheritance." Something much more valuable than a bowl of soup, something that would have provided Esau for his entire life, continually feeding him and taking care of him. But Esau wasn't considering his future, but he was thinking about what he could get in the moment. So he traded his infinitely more valuable inheritance for a bowl of soup that would feed him for a few hours, ultimately to just be hungry again later. This is sin. It is like that bowl of soup. It doesn't truly satisfy. It doesn't truly solve the problem. It can only give temporary delights, but just leave you empty in the end. And in exchange, you're trading up a much more valuable inheritance, the eternal inheritance of God. So stop and consider your future. Consider what is more important. Will sin truly satisfy you? Will it truly solve your problems in life? Will it fill that need? It won't, I promise. Only increase the void. What Jesus has to offer, and a pure, incorruptible, eternal inheritance, is much more valuable. So if tonight you wish to receive that inheritance, you wish to be adopted into the family of God and receive those blessings of having a relationship with Him, you could be baptized, forgiven of your sins. Or if there's anything we could do for you, anything we could pray about, please let us know now as we stand and sing this invitation song.